Today is June 6, 2025. Europe, a continent celebrated for its modernity and diversity, has long attracted people seeking new beginnings. Yet for many Muslims, the European dream is shadowed by unsettling realities. The unspoken question, does Europe truly offer a welcoming home for its Muslim communities? This issue is complex, rooted in history, identity, and the daily challenges of minority life. Our goal is to explore the lived experiences of Muslims across Europe, from Paris to Berlin, London to Spanish towns with deep Islamic roots. We'll draw on research from the Pew Research Centre and the Council of Europe, whose findings reveal persistent discrimination, economic worries, and a sense of not quite belonging. These studies also highlight anxieties among majority populations, creating a landscape of mutual apprehension. Why do some Muslims feel Europe isn't the ideal place to build their lives? What hurdles do they face? This journey is about understanding their perspectives and the broader implications for European society. Let's try to see Europe through their eyes. For many Muslims in Europe, challenges are often subtle, unseen barriers that foster exclusion and stigma. The Council of Europe notes that Muslims frequently report being othered and stereotyped, impacting daily life at work, in public, and even among neighbours. Discrimination is not just a feeling, it's a reality. Pew Research found that over a third of Muslims in France and significant numbers in Spain and Britain reported personal experiences of discrimination. These numbers represent countless moments of hurt and frustration. Discrimination can mean being passed over for jobs, facing extra scrutiny, or enduring derogatory remarks. The cumulative effect erodes trust in society and institutions, deepening alienation. Stereotypes fuel marginalization and in some cases can push individuals toward political extremism, a dangerous cycle. The pervasiveness of these experiences points to systemic issues, not isolated incidents. While not every European is discriminatory, enough incidents occur to create a climate of apprehension. The constant need to be on guard is exhausting, making the idea of a truly welcoming Europe feel distant for many. For some, belonging remains an elusive ideal. Beyond direct discrimination, many European Muslims perceive widespread hostility, a view supported by survey data. In Germany, over half of Muslims and even more of the general public believed that many Germans were hostile toward Muslims. Similar perceptions exist in Britain and France, where large minorities of Muslims feel surrounded by animosity. Outside Europe, the image is even starker. Majorities in Egypt and Pakistan see Europe as hostile to Muslims. Are these perceptions accurate or amplified by media and negative experiences? When both minorities and majorities agree on the presence of hostility, it signals a real societal problem. This environment makes it difficult for Muslims to feel secure and accepted. The gap between perception and reality is narrowing, and it's not a comforting trend. For many Muslims in Europe, unemployment is a pressing concern, often overshadowing even issues of identity. Pew Research found that economic worries top the list for Muslim minorities in France, Germany, Spain and Britain. Barriers range from language and education gaps to outright discrimination in hiring. Economic vulnerability deepens feelings of exclusion and makes optimism about the future difficult. Large majorities of Muslims in Britain, France, Germany and Spain express deep concern about their future in Europe. Parents worry their children will face the same prejudices and job market struggles. This anxiety shapes decisions about where to live, how to raise families, and whether to invest in a European future. When the present is uncertain and the future looks bleak, it's understandable why some question their place in Europe. Economic insecurity and social exclusion are tightly linked, fueling a cycle that's hard to break. Islamophobia is a pervasive issue in Europe, often fueled by ignorance and negative stereotypes. The Council of Europe warns that political parties increasingly exploit fear of Islam, equating the religion with extremism. This rhetoric normalizes prejudice and incites intolerance, making Muslims feel unwelcome. Political exploitation of Islamophobia shapes public opinion and policy, embedding discrimination in society. Muslims must navigate a landscape where their faith is constantly debated and their leaders viewed with suspicion. Unaddressed Islamophobia can foster alienation and resentment, which extremist groups may exploit. This cycle of fear and misunderstanding threatens both social cohesion and security. Tackling Islamophobia is essential, not just for justice, but for Europe's future. How the majority perceives Muslim integration shapes the sense of belonging for Muslims in Europe. Pew Research shows that majorities in Germany, Spain and Britain believe Muslims want to remain distinct, not adopt national customs. Even many Muslims share this view about new immigrants, revealing internal debates within communities. The rise of Islamic identity is often seen as a threat by the general public, with fears it could lead to violence or hinder integration. This creates a dilemma. Muslims wish to maintain their heritage while being active citizens, but any expression of identity is viewed with suspicion. Acceptance often feels conditional, requiring assimilation at the cost of core identity. This dynamic fosters resentment and makes true inclusion difficult. For many, the message is clear. Their very identity is seen as a problem. The prospect of a truly inclusive Europe remains distant. Extremism casts a long shadow over both Muslim communities and European society. The Council of Europe notes that Islamic extremism and anti-Muslim extremism reinforce each other, deepening divisions. For Muslims, extremism is a top concern. Many fear both the violence and the backlash it provokes. General European publics also express high levels of concern, which can lead to stereotyping and support for discriminatory policies. This mutual fear creates a volatile atmosphere, making integration and dialogue difficult. Muslims are pressured to constantly condemn acts they do not support while facing suspicion and hostility. The relentless pressure contributes to the sense that Europe may not be a safe or welcoming home. Beyond social attitudes, Muslims in Europe face challenges from policies that can subtly or overtly discriminate. Popular votes, like Switzerland's minaret ban, send troubling signals to Muslim communities. Debates over religious practices, especially women's veiling, often become flashpoints, with bans seen as attacks on personal agency. Many Muslim women feel these debates are intrusive, dictating their religious expression. Concerns also arise over foreign influence in Islamic organizations, fueling suspicion and complicating trust. These policy debates highlight the friction between religious freedom and national identity. For Muslims, navigating these challenges is a daily reality. The experiences of Muslims in Europe reveal persistent challenges: discrimination, economic worries, Islamophobia, and policy restrictions. A lack of mutual understanding deepens the divide, as seen in differing reactions to crises like the 2005 French riots. Sympathy deficits and misunderstandings make shared community elusive. The evidence suggests that, for many, Europe falls short of being a truly welcoming home. The constant need to justify one's faith and identity and barriers to full participation create a profound sense of unease. The question of belonging remains unresolved for many Muslims. Until there is genuine commitment to mutual respect and understanding, this question will persist. The future of Europe's inclusivity depends on how it answers